4 most disturbing moments caught on live television. Let's go, baby.
On August 26, 2015, WDBJ reporter 24-year-old Allison Parker and her cameraman 27-year-old Adam Ward visited the Bridgewater Plaza near Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. Their goal was to do a live interview with the executive director of the local Chamber of Commerce, Vicki Gardner, about an upcoming event at the lake. Things went just as planned initially, with them setting up the camera.
What the fuck?
Equipment and Allison starting the interview at 6:45 a.m. What none of them knew, however, was that they were about to become the victims of a crazed stalker. Just seconds into the
Dude, Dux, my girl says hi. Dude, Jesus, tell her I said what's up. Dude, dead ass, dude, stalkers are fucking scary. Chad, I swear to God, if any of you come to my crib and you're like stalking it, it's over, bro. Like, I got like aim like motherfucking, like, you know what I mean? Like Chris Kyle, it's over, dude.
Interview, an armed man walked up to the group and opened fire.
What?
The live feed cut back to the in-studio reporter who was just as shocked at what happened as the many viewers watching live.
Okay, not sure what happened there. We will, of course, let
What? What do you mean you don't know what happened, dude? She stupid?
you know as soon as we find out what those sounds were from.
Tragically, by the time first responders arrived, both Allison and Adam had already succumbed to their injuries
Dude, that's
and passed
fucked.
away. Vicky was badly hurt as well, but she managed to play dead and ultimately survive the encounter despite getting shot in the back. As for the perpetrator, he had already fled the scene by this point. And with no nearby CCTV capturing a clear image of his face or vehicle, investigators were left at a dead end. But then, someone at the WDBJ network analyzed the footage further, which revealed one blurry but still recognizable frame of the person responsible for this tragedy.
Oh, he just looks
This
scary.
was 41-year-old Vester Lee Flanagan, a former WDBJ reporter who went by the professional...
Wait, that doesn't even look like him. This guy looks like an old man. Chat, am I tweak? Oh, hold on. Chat, hold on. Look at this. Look at what they saw. Look at what they see. See him?
Blurry but still recognizable frame of the person...
See, you see him, now look.
...responsible for this tragedy. This was 41-year-old
What?
Vester Lee Flanagan, a former WDBJ reporter who went by the professional name of Bryce Williams. He'd actually worked with both Allison and Adam in the past, but was fired from his job after higher-ups received several reports of workplace aggression. However, what seemed like a disgruntled ex-employee lashing out at his former colleagues at first turned out to have a far darker backstory to it. You see, Vester had an extensive history of being difficult to work with, long before he joined WDBJ. He was fired from one of his early reporting jobs from NBC affiliate WTWC in the year 2000 for, quote, odd behavior towards his coworkers. While the exact reason for his termination was never revealed to the public, from what I was able to find, it had something to do with him being aggressive and trying to intimidate others. But instead of admitting
Dude. Yo, Creature, tell your dick I said hi. Yo, chat. Dude, I need to start being nicer to... Dude, there's this guy that I work with. He's like annoying as fuck. He thinks he's like an egotistical motherfucker. Dude, I'm like a dick to him. Like, I'm not a dick, but I just don't talk to him. Dude, I gotta be nicer to him because I get tweaked out. What if he kills me?
faults, he filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against his employer, which eventually ended with an out-of-court settlement. However, that was only the beginning. From there, he found work at multiple other stations, but struggled to build a career at one place, largely due to the many altercations he got into with his colleagues. He had severe anger management issues and would often resort to physically confronting his coworkers over even the smallest disagreements.
He had increasing conflicts with people at the station, especially the floor crew, some of the other reporters, some of the photographers in the field, to the point where he was threatening people, had some physical confrontations with a couple of people, and at one point became such a distraction that we finally had to terminate him.
He eventually secured a position at WDBJ in March of 2012, and it was the same story once again. It didn't take long for him to fall into the same pattern of anger and bullying there as well. Just months into his employment, the WDBJ management had already received multiple reports of his coworkers feeling threatened or uncomfortable working with him. In fact, his behavior at WDBJ was worse than at any of his previous jobs.
What the fuck was his issue? Why is he so mad?
In January 2013, less than a year after he started. He even had to be escorted out by police when he refused to accept his termination and threatened his superiors with violence. Vester once again tried to play the racial discrimination card and singled out Allison and Adam for the alleged racist behavior.
What?
However, a third-party investigation didn't find any evidence of discrimination and his case was thrown out. He likely named them because he knew they were among the coworkers who had filed complaints against him. After his shameful termination from WDBJ, he struggled to find work elsewhere in the industry, and his resentment against the two colleagues he believed had destroyed his life only grew with each setback.
Dude, the thing is like they didn't destroy his life though. Dude, I hate when they always claim racism, dude. It's so annoying. Like, okay, sometimes it is that, but like, dude, holy fuck, dude. They always just want to complain about something. It's like, bro, like, dude, oh my god.
This resentment
just do
reached
your
its
job,
tipping
like, just
point
do your
on
job and stop
August
bitching.
26, 2015. He tracked down where Allison and Adam were doing their next job and stalked them as they were getting ready to go live. As soon as they began the interview, Vester walked up to them and opened fire. But this was only part one of his plan. You see, while Adam's camera did catch Vester for a split second, the footage wasn't clear enough for the investigators
Dude, that
to
just
name
does not look like him for a second. Dude, am I just tweaking? It just does not look like him.
him as the prime
Maybe it's a
suspect
camera.
with complete certainty. Fortunately, this doubt vanished quickly when, at 8:26 a.m., Vester faxed a 23-page manifesto to ABC News, admitting to everything. Though most of these pages were filled with
Dude, chill out. When I said you people, I'm talking about the people that claim racism. It could be white people too. I'm talking about them. Like the people that claim that shit. The people that use that as a clutch. Dude, don't try and fucking...
nothing more than the incoherent ramblings of an extremely angry and mentally unwell man. In them, he described himself as a human powder keg just waiting to go boom, how he was angry at the world, and mentioned the Charleston church incident as his tipping point. How that connected to him taking the lives of his former coworkers was never entirely clear. Then, at 11:14 a.m., he also uploaded a video of the crime he'd recorded from his point of view on Facebook. This left no doubt that Vester was the one behind the incident, prompting an immediate nationwide manhunt. Tracing his cell phone allowed the officers to find him on the highway, attempting to flee the state in a rented vehicle at 11:20 a.m. But when they tried to pull him over, he sped up and eventually crashed onto the side of the road. And before the officers could reach his car, he decided to end the chase with the firearm he had on him,
Oh my
bringing the
God.
manhunt to a sudden, shocking conclusion.
Dude, why would you do that? Like, dude, you're gonna... Okay, like, maybe you could, like, go to jail. Like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's not the coolest place. You go to jail. You fucking, like, get your shit together. You know what I mean? Like, maybe find God and shit like that. Dude, now he's just... He dies. You killed somebody. You're you're in hell for eternity, bro. It's over. Like, you're a dumbass. I don't know why people do
On the 25th
that.
of June 2014,
stupid.
Charles Bothell went on the Nancy Grace Show seeking the public's help in finding his missing son. 12-year-old Charlie was first reported missing from his home in Detroit, Michigan 11 days ago on June 14th. His father, Charles, had been doing everything in his power to help locate his
Dude, that
days
guy's
ago
got some
on June
fucking...
14th.
Damn! How old is he? Dude, he's got really fucking good teeth for his age.
His father, Charles, had been doing everything in his power to help locate his son, from going door to door in his neighborhood to spreading missing person posters throughout the city. Unfortunately, despite dozens of people, including the FBI looking for him, the young boy was nowhere to be found. And the hope of finding him alive was diminishing with each passing day. Appearing on live TV was Charles' last-ditch effort to raise awareness about his son's disappearance, hoping someone with information might see the show. However, just minutes into the broadcast, the interview took a bizarre turn when Nancy received a report that no one expected.
The father of the missing 12-year-old boy, Charlie, with me is his father, Charlie Bothell. Charlie, we're getting reports that your son has been found in your basement. Sir?
Apparently, while Charles was on TV, investigators obtained a search warrant to conduct a thorough search of his home. There, they found Charlie huddled in the basement behind a massive pile of barrels and boxes. Upon hearing the news of his son's discovery, Charles reacted with complete shock.
How could your son be alive in your basement?
Dude, okay, so if he did kill him, dude, like, actually, dude, Chet, if he either deserves a Grammy or he, like, really did not know why he's been in the basement. That's fucking nuts. It's not me in the basement, dude.
I have no idea.
However, something about his reaction felt extremely off.
Yeah.
Many argued that a normal father would have ended the interview immediately and rushed to the son he hadn't seen in 11 days. Charles, on the other hand, seemed more concerned with denying the report and trying to prove his innocence.
Sir, did you check your basement?
I checked my basement, the FBI checked my basement, the Detroit police checked my basement, my wife checked my basement. I've been
Yeah,
down
wait,
there
dude, go
several
see your
times. We've
fucking
all been
kid.
checking.
Why is there someone
He even
calling
lashed
me? It's
out at other
freaking me out
reports
now.
for insinuating that he knowingly forced his son to hide in the basement, when in reality his actions were far more cruel than anyone could have expected.
I don't know,
The
dude.
truth came to light as soon as the
Maybe he's just
investigators
fucking
found
nervous.
Charlie. According to him, his stepmother, Monique Dillard Bothell, was the one who ordered him to hide in the basement. She also told him not to make any sound, no matter what he heard. From there, they spread the rumor that their son had gone missing and began looking for him. But despite their cries for help, they were very uncooperative with the police to ensure that Charlie wouldn't be found. Investigators only sought the search warrant because they suspected Charlie was already dead. As for why the couple would do this, that remains a mystery to this day. Both have continued to claim they knew nothing about Charlie's whereabouts. Though, given what we know, the most likely explanation is that they wanted to exert even more control over his life. You see, when the investigators located Charlie, he had
What?
severe cuts and bruises on his body, likely from his
Freaked out
parents.
right now.
In addition to that, growing up, he also had to endure a grueling daily exercise routine that included 100 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, and 100 jumping jacks twice a day. Charlie was already homeschooled and cut off from the rest of society. Maybe the couple thought that faking his disappearance would allow them to do whatever they wanted.
Dude,
without
what
any
a
oversight.
piece of
Regardless
shit
of their intentions,
family,
their
dude.
crime
I
was
feel
clear as
bad
day.
for that kid.
The two were arrested shortly after and stood trial over the
At
outcome
least
of
he's,
the
like,
case,
good,
with Charlie
you know what I mean?
himself
I
coming
mean,
forward to testify against
That
them.
sucks ass that
And
he had to
while
go
they
through
were
that,
able
but
to
at least
avoid
he's
jail
like
time
alive,
due
you
to
know
a
what I mean?
plea
Because some
deal,
people just
they
like
lost
die.
complete custody of Charlie, who now lives safely with other relatives.
Dude, that's fucked. Oh my god, what the
On the evening
fuck?
of November 19, 2014, the Rockville, Maryland Fire Department responded to an intense house fire. The fire had engulfed the entire double-story house and was getting more and more intense with each passing minute. It took them over an hour to get the fire under control, and the house was barely standing by that point. Now, fires like these can start for any number of reasons, from a stove left on to an electrical short.
Oh my god, chat, can't hot water heaters explode? Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. What? Dude, I need to move this shit. Dude, it's like literally right next to the hot water heater. Bro. Yo, dude. What? Oh my god. Dude. Dude, I need to move my fucking setup. Like, no bullshit, I actually do. What the fuck, dude? Dude, it's right next to my fucking... It's right next to my setup. Like, it's like literally right there. Oh my god. I'm freaking... that's all I'm gonna think about now. Hold on. Well, we'll look at it after this.
However, before the investigators could even think about determining the cause, 27-year-old Carlos Peralta, who was one of the residents of the house, walked up to an ABC7 reporter covering the incident live and made the wildest revelation. According to him, this fire was the result of arson. Not only that, but he was the one who started the fire just hours earlier.
Me, I set it on fire.
Given the sheer strangeness of this unsolicited confession, the reporter didn't believe him at first. But Carlos was more than happy to provide more details of how he committed the crime.
I just poured gasoline on the floor, set it on fire, and went to buy a drink and came back.
What? Dude, he just like admitted it! Like right on the news!
Gasoline on the floor, set it on fire, and went to buy a drink and came back.
Minutes later, he walked up to the police officers standing nearby and confessed to them as well. His clothes had the smell of gasoline, and a basic search revealed a lighter in his pocket, providing the officers enough evidence to believe his story and arrest him.
Dude, he
on the
just
spot.
admitted it!
As for his
Yeah, he was
motive,
trying to
Carlos
oral farm
claimed
that.
he did
Yeah.
all this to get the media's attention about the deplorable living conditions in that house. However, burning down the house he wanted to report on made little sense.
Well, did anybody...
That is, until investigators dug further into his history and discovered that he'd been suffering from schizophrenia as well as alcoholism for the past few years.
I mean, at least, I'm glad
he
no
was
one
also
died, though, at
arrested
least.
for destruction of property just 2 weeks before this incident. Put simply, this house fire was the doing of a mentally troubled man who genuinely believed he was doing the right thing. The fire ended
See,
up
dude, like, you
causing-
can't even get mad at people like that. I mean, I do, like, if he killed somebody, obviously, but, like, dude, the thing is, like, people deal with fucking, like, mental issues. And, like, they don't ever go to seek help at all. You know what I mean?
$400,000 in property damage. Fortunately, the other 5 residents, including Carlos's own mother, were able to escape without any harm. Though, what happened to Carlos after his arrest was never made public. But, given the severity of his crime, he was likely sentenced to several years in prison.
Hopefully he gets help there, dude. You know what I mean?
On
Dude,
July
turn off this
27,
eerie music,
2007,
man.
news helicopters in Phoenix, Arizona were reporting on a live police chase. that was happening in the city.
2007?
The chase
This is
helicopters in
dude, this
Phoenix,
fucking
Arizona
camera
were
looks like it's
reporting
been taken on a
live police chase that
Nokia.
was happening in the city. The chase had begun about
Jesus.
22 minutes earlier when the police identified and pulled over a stolen flatbed pickup truck. In an attempt to avoid arrest, the driver, 23-year-old Christopher J. Jones, reversed into the police cruiser and
Oh
tried to flee the scene.
Bro.
Unfortunately for him, word of the chase got out quickly, and minutes later, 6 different helicopters were tracking his every move. This included 1 police chopper and 5 others from different news stations. However, while everyone's eyes were fixated on the road, a tragedy was about to take place in the sky.
We'll see what happens here. He has stopped. This may be the end of this thing.
Well, he's taking
Okay,
off
he's out.
running.
Okay, now it's a foot chase.
Okay.
Dude, he just
Now
made it
he's
so
definitely
much
going
worse.
down.
Just pull over.
Okay,
All right, they're
doors
closing
open,
in.
police,
Looks
okay.
like they've.
Oh, the one right there.
We're gonna pull out.
Pull out?
We don't know what has just happened right there. It looks like the police have closed in on him. We don't know what exactly has transpired between the police.
Seemingly out of nowhere, 2 of the news helicopters' feeds abruptly stopped. They had crashed into each other before tumbling to the ground and exploding on impact.
What?
One of the helicopters involved in this crash belonged to an ABC affiliate network, KNXV, piloted by Craig Smith with camera operator Rick Krolak. The other was reporting back to an independent Phoenix station named KTVK with pilot Scott Bowerbank and photographer Jim Cox. All 4 were sadly killed instantly on impact, leaving the other
Dude.
reporters stunned and struggling to
That's
process
fucking
the sudden
terrible.
tragedy.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Phoenix Tower, Skybox 10. Just had a mid-air collision over here at the park. 2
Dude, I can't
helicopters.
even imagine that guy who's recording the incident in the other helicopter. Dude, I'm not playing, dude. I'd be so fucking scared. Like, I just want to land and never do my job ever again. I swear to God.
2 helicopters down.
Why is he...
Oh, my God.
Dude, he's probably hyperventilating right now.
Fortunately, the helicopter's crash landed in an empty park, avoiding any additional casualties. A later investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the accident was the result of both pilots' failure to see and avoid the other helicopter. But that still raises the question of how.
Yeah.
How could 2 experienced pilots...
Yeah, how? Wait. That's what I just didn't want to be a dick. How the fuck do you not see... Dude, those things are pretty big. How the fuck do you not see it? Reporting about his coworkers who just... Yeah, I know, Case. But I'm just saying, like, dude, how do you... Like, dude, people with experience, how the fuck do you not see that, dude? Like, you know what I mean?
Such a critical error. Well, the answer to that lies in how many news helicopters operated during that time. But first, an important thing to note is that when so many choppers are in close proximity, traditional air traffic control systems are not very useful. Instead, the pilots are instructed to operate under visual flight rules. In other words, they were responsible for keeping an eye on their surroundings and maintaining safe distance at all times. Now, this shouldn't have been an issue for experienced helicopter pilots like Craig and Scott. The issue, however, was that the 2 were doing a lot more than just flying the choppers. Not only did they have to monitor multiple communication channels with other helicopters, air traffic control, and the network, they were also reporting live on the action below as it unfolded before them. While juggling all these responsibilities, one of the pilots briefly lost awareness of their surroundings for just a few seconds. Tragically, that was long enough for the helicopters to drift too close and collide mid-air. The only silver lining was that the incident led to major reforms in news helicopter safety, including news stations using a shared single helicopter feed and studio ground-based reporting, measures that continue to save lives to this day.
Dude, it's so fucked up that there has to be like death before they actually like make those changes. Dude, first off, dude, They should have one guy in there flying the helicopter and another guy actually fucking with. Dude, but you can't text and drive. So why the fuck is this guy over here? He's got to do all this other shit while, you know what I mean? So fucked up, dude. They were trying to get a better view. Yeah, dude, they should all, like, what I would think is like, dude, okay, if there's 3 of them, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. They should fly in a triangle formation, dude. 2 at least, like 300 yards apart, bang, and then 1 at the tip. You know what I mean?